It was a dark and stormy night in June 1912 when the unthinkable, the unimaginable, the utterly horrific happened at the Wieluszka Axe murder house. 8 innocent people, including 6 precious children, were brutally, mercilessly murdered with an axe while they slept. Can you even begin to imagine the horror, the sheer terror, the utter devastation? The Moore family, consisting of parents, Josiah and Sarah, and their 4 beautiful children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, were all killed, slaughtered, butchered in their beds. And if that wasn't enough, 2 innocent guests, Ina Stillinger and her sister, were also found dead, lifeless, gone. The killer, who was never caught or identified, used an axe from the Moore's own barn to commit the heinous, the despicable, the atrocious crime. The scene was gruesome, ghastly, gruesome, with blood splattered everywhere, and the victims' bodies battered, broken, beyond recognition. The investigation that followed was one of the largest in Iowa's history at the time, but it yielded nothing but unanswered questions, frustration, and anger. Who could have committed such a heinous, such a monstrous crime, and why? The Wieluszka Axe murder house still stands today, a haunting, a chilling, a terrifying reminder of the tragedy that occurred within its walls. Visitors have reported strange occurrences, like ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises, and movements. Some even claim to have seen the spirits of the victims, still trapped, still suffering. The Wieluszka Axe murder house is a place where terror reigns supreme, where fear grips your heart, where horror never ends. Here's more of the story. The next morning, a neighbor, Ross Moore, discovered the bodies and alerted the authorities. The crime scene was chaotic, confusing, and shocking, with no signs of forced entry or struggle. It was as if the killer had been invited in, welcomed with open arms. The investigation was botched from the start, with evidence contaminated and witnesses questioned improperly. The case went cold, leaving the community stunned, frightened, and outraged. Years later, a suspect emerged, a man named Andrew Anderson, who had a grudge against the Moore family, but he was never charged due to lack of evidence. Today, the Wieluszka Axe murder house is a museum where visitors can tour the crime scene, but be warned, many have reported strange occurrences, like ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises, and movements. Some even claim to have seen the killer's ghostly figure, still wielding the axe, still seeking victims.